In this session, we will consider the different types of securities, specifically the immovable properties, how to be charged, and what are the rights and obligations of the financer. So let us start. Mind well the definition of immovable property. Bank deals with property as security charged to the bank. That everybody know. In cooperative bank, generally each and every borrower has to mortgage something to the bank. The For that mortgage, the provisions of Transfer of Property Act is always apply, and that are to be immovable property and actionable claim. Actionable claims are the claims to any date and can be assigned. Actionable claims means in here says bank is creditor, borrower is debtor. The claim against the our borrower's another debtor can be assigned, and that is called the actionable claim. Then charge charge means receivable amount can be assigned as by instrument in writing, and that assignment should be registered. And other charges on immovable property are mortgage. The best example of assignment is the assignment of life policies. When action is to be done on certain event in life of policy, on happening that event, the on happening and debate, the can enforce bank can enforce its right that the and other type is of mortgage. So we'll go to another. We'll see the who can mortgage the property. The person competent to contract means adult person can mortgage the property, or owner of the property can mortgage the property. If there are the joint holder, the means the property belonging to two or three persons, then all should be engaged in mortgaging that property. Then Karta of HUF can mortgage the own property. Then the executor or administrator appointed by court for liquidation of any company, and if he requires some funds for expenses for that liquidation process, then he can mortgage the property to the bank. In sense, all legal persons, if they own the property, they can mortgage for the finance. Now here legal persons includes all LLP, OCP, private limited company, public limited company, all who is the legal person can mortgage the property for finance. What is mortgage? Mortgage is legal term transfer of interest in specific immovable property for existing or future debt. Normally, we will find in other movable assets we cannot charge by way of anything, hypothecation, pledge, or whatever may be the matter. The future debt cannot be cannot be charged. But in this typical property or mortgage deed or mortgage procedure, existing as well as future debt can be can be mortgaged. So the interest in that particular property which are existing or in futuristic means if any liability may arise in future, that also mortgage. Then the performance of engagement may give rise to pecuniary liability. In mortgage, suppose in pecuniary liability expect at present there are no liabilities and the property is mortgaged to the bank. This happens when at the verge of any directive where it is not confirmed that whether this act causes the pecuniary liability or not. Pecuniary liability means financial liability. Say, I will say, suppose some trade is there. It is not decided. The trade is new one, activity is new one. So it is not decided how much to the charge GST, whether it is to be 5%, whether to be 18% or 30%. At this juncture, there is rates are not known, so this liability was not aware to the borrower or the mortgager. So such type of liability can be mortgage against the security. And what is immovable property? Immovable property is the land, first, that everybody knows. The machinery fastened to the land, and it is not easily removable. It's called a immovable property. Standing crop is not immovable property. So we take the hypothecation of crop. We take the deed of hypothecation, not a deed of mortgage in a case of crops. So whatever is attached to the earth and it is difficult to detach from us, it became the part and parcel of the land, is a immovable property. A mango garden is immovable property. Though we have developed a technique that we can shift any trees from this or that, from this place to that place or anywhere, still the mortgage mango garden is a immovable property. There are various types of the mortgages. One type is simple mortgage. In simple mortgage, the mortgager requests for the advance or money and binds to repay. Binds to repay. In failure of repaying the loan, the mortgagee can sold his property. This is the simple transaction. But due to the non-payment of mortgagor, the mortgagee cannot sold the property without intervention of the court. Means we have to file the case in civil suit, obtain the decree, then and then only we can able to sell that mortgage property. Then in simple mortgage, though the charge and interest has been mortgaged to the mortgagor, mortgagor, mortgagee, the possession remains with the mortgagor, and he do not have any right to collect the rent and produce. This means if there is a complex, commercial complex, uh, which is mortgager is the owner. He mortgaged that complex to your bank for his another financial need. Then on execution of the document, he will enjoy the rent received from that complexes. The mortgagee do not have any rights to collect rent from that complexes a tenant or you may lazy or you whatever may be the economy. But whatever the receipt of that property is to be go collected and credited to the mortgager's account. Or you may case the mango garden, apple garden, or any fruit garden. That property is mortgaged to bank. The mortgage, the mortgagee, the bank cannot claim whatever the produce on that garden and take it for consumption, or he will sell it and receipt will be appropriated. No. If there is a default on payment, then it should approach to the court. That is the final. And after obtaining the decree, it can be sold. Then in this document, registration is compulsory. Mortgage document is compulsory in the simple mortgage. Then the main thing is in this simple mortgage is that suppose you advance money of 50 lakhs against the mortgage of property. The borrower did not pay this amount. You approach the court and obtain the decree and sold the property. Say it has for you have received only the 47 lakhs of rupees. Then for remaining 3 lakhs, the mortgager is liable. So whatever the amount you let and mortgagor is personally liable. So whatever the balance amount remain or residue can be recovered from mortgagor as a personal capacity. Then second type of mortgage. It is called mortgage by conditional sale. In this type of mortgage, mortgagor transfers the property, entire property, as if a sale has been take place. So ownership, possession, everything is transferred to the mortgagee. But is did the sale is not unstangible, means it is not absolute sale. To become this sale absolute, the mortgagee has to apply for the court. Though the property has been transferred in his name by this deed of execution, even though to make it absolute, he has to approach the court for decree, and mortgagor can file for foreclosure, means mortgage for the whatever the balance amount is residue is remain for due to the non repayment. He can say that now that the let the property be transferred in my name, I will sold and recover. If he does so, foreclosure does so on receipt of court's decree, and any balance is remaining, inadequate funds are not received, then mortgagor is not liable to pay that balance residual amount. In earlier case, we have seen that property worth 50 lakhs has been sold out for the 47 lakhs. Then for the balance 3 lakhs, mortgagor is liable. But in this type of mortgage by conditional sale, that residual 3 lakhs cannot be recovered from the mortgagor, being its personal liability. Then there is another type of mortgage. It is called usufructuary mortgage. In this type of mortgage, the possession is delivered to the mortgage. Then that possession can be retained till the entire amount is received or recovered from the mortgagor. There is no time limit. If any income is generated from that property, it is to be appropriated by the mortgagee toward rent and installment. This case can be happen in case of the property is rented out and on rent or the receipt is the income, or just like if fruit gardens where income can be generated. In that case, only the this type of mortgage can be executed. There is no personal liability and no time limit, and sale is not allowed in this property. This type of mortgage may be little bit analogous to the type of lien charges. You can retain, you can enjoy, but you cannot sold, or no time limit unless and until you receive your all money back, or then only you have to retransfer to the mortgagor. Till that date, you will hold that property as if your own. Then another type, in this type of document, a English mortgage, mortgagor transfer the interest and everything in favor of mortgagee with a condition that mortgagee will retransfer this property to the mortgagor on receipt of his all dues, and he binds himself to repay the loan within certain specified date. That in this type of mortgage the period is mentioned, so there is definite. This is not of the usufructory that you just get the property, enjoy that property till entire the. There is no time limit. Here is the time limit. Then here also on residue the personal liability is there. Means all the property has been transferred in the favor of mortgagee. If mortgagor is unable to pay the mortgage amount on specified date, then he may say that you sold a property on sale. If there is a residue, then for that residue, the personal liability is there. Then very common equitable mortgage we used we used to take in housing loan. Equitable mortgage can be created by deposit of title deeds, means deposit of title papers, ownership papers, but it is to be executed in the specified places only. These are state capitals, metro cities, and certain centers declared by particular states. In that places only the equitable mortgage can be executed. If there are no repayment received, mortgagor can sue for sale but not for foreclosure. Means give this property and go bye bye, because the prices of the properties are always increasing. So there is a no clause of foreclosure. It can be created in the certain center only. Registration of this type of mortgage means execution of document is not compulsory, but it can have a right for foreclosure, that mortgagor to be debarred to get back property. That clause is always there if there is the no repayment or excess payment. So unless and until here also the intervention of court is necessary, you must experiencing the DRT process, that is the recovery process of the equitable mortgage. Then anomalous mortgage. Above all, which we have considered the five types of mortgages, this type is this documents execution type can't be filled in that. There may be the some points or some benefits from this mortgage, some from that. It is called anomalous mortgage. In this type of document or in this type of execution of document, registration is compulsory and except equitable mortgage. Then it must be registered within the 4 months from date of executions, and always mortgage will rank as per the priority according to date of creation. Suppose there is a huge property that borrower has mortgaged by defrauding by all other means. If it is mortgaged to the 2-3 financer and he makes the default, so to have the first charge on that property, the date of creation of charge and with it register, date of register, these are most important thing. Suppose there is a property A, one bank property is A, one bank B has been financed and documents are executed on 15 June. That bank, B bank, has created or charge, register the charge on 28 July. Creation of mortgage is on 15 June. Charge has been registered on 28 July. There is another C bank who has also financed that person and executed a mortgage deed. It has been done on 27 June and C bank has registered it on the 3rd July. So, though in that case, in that dispute, the C bank have got priority. Its charge will be registered first, and B will remain. Though the mortgage deed has been registered earlier, due to the lapses on that B bank's part to register it, he may lose his stake. So this is the mortgage. Then there is another type. It is called lease. Lease is the immovable property given for beneficial use or permanently on lease. Lease is the agreement up to that period that party can be utilize it. You you know that in industrial estate, the prospective purchaser, we may say purchaser, take the plot of MIDS on lease rent. That is not actual rent. So it associated with some charges for utilizing that immovable property for a longer period. So in that case, the ownership of property, immovable property, does not pass to the lessee. Here, who is giving the property on lease is called lessee, lessor, and who is obtaining the property for enjoyment that property is lessee. So it is it must be for specific period. It is always for specific period. Then this lease deed must be registered. In normal case, we give out if anybody has got two flat, one he for an own utilization and second flat nowadays he gave on rent. But he don't now we don't see that as the rent. We say that a lease, that is 11 months lease, 3 years lease, 4 years lease. So this is and property belongs to you, but the who is enjoying that lessor is enjoying that property. So this is certain type of document. Why it is required to the bank? Because there are very few properties which are freehold or owned by the unit or especially commercial organizations. The structure on which has been erected, the land is always on lease. Nobody purchase it outright, considering the cost. So the lease period may be 30 year, 50 year, 99 year, like that. What must be observed by bank in this type of case for obtaining a security to your advance is what is the unexpired period of lease and what is your repayment schedule. If unexpired period of that property which is leased out is unexpired period is 5 years, then bank should not accept this as a security for an advance which has got repayment 7 years or more than 5 years. If the unexpired period is 30 years, 40 years, then and your repayment schedule is 7 years, the bank can very well accept this as a security because after 7 years the unexpired period still remains more than 20 years. So bank can have another resort to lease out that property to some another person and recover the amount. Then revocation, lease rent. I have taken the your flat on lease rent. If I don't want, either of party don't want it, then they must give 3 months notice for we are revoking from this agreement. If you don't want to continue with your existing tenant, then you must give a notice to that tenant. Normally it is 3 months, but nowadays in rent lease it is 1 month notice is there, sufficient period. That notice period is depend upon mutually agreement how much to be that period. There is also locking period. Normally in the rent act first 6 months are the locking period. So if you given the property to anybody, any other person and executed a lease deed, you cannot ask him to vacate within first 6 months. So if you want that he should vacate, after 3 months you must give notice for vacation. Or either way, if your customer don't want to reside in that flat, the first 6 months he don't have any way to leave it. He should have give. He is also abide by 6 months. If even though he did not reside, you can claim rent from him with this clause. So such type of clauses are always you find in lease agreement and in case of immovable properties. So we have seen today specific charges regarding the immovable properties, what are. Then for movable properties also were discussed in our earlier session. So thank you very much and all the best for your examination.